Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan Donuts, aka Whiskey Tip, and Mike, known as Tupuds, online Whiskey Wings. How you doing today, Mike, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you? I'm far more relaxed and compos mentis than my colleague across the way.
Colleague?
How are you?
God, it's a job now. I'm sweating. I don't know. I think I'm maybe a bit under the weather or something. I've got a right sweat on and I've been really flustered because the dog hurt his paw, and I spent a majority of the day trying to hold his paw up so he could go for a wee. And then he's like, I'm just not going for a wee. I'm just going to lie down. And then in the end, I was like, right, you won't let me look at your paw. So I'm going to have another go, and then just some blood spurted out. And he seems a bit better now. But as you know, I was running around trying to find something to sort of clean his paw with, because you said that 40%.
We settled on cast strength whiskey.
40% Icelandic vodka from the freezer.
Not good enough.
It's not good enough. It's not.
So he's on Lefroy cast strength batch 10.
We always say this podcast. We don't want this podcast to be educational, but just FYI, it's only disinfecting if it's over 60%, really. So, yeah. So
cast strength only. It harks back, same as like going back to the when the world's going to end episode.
Summer to Lockley.
If you're going to make a petrol bomb, you need to have cast strength whiskey. Don't try and use Icelandic vodka out of the freezer. It's going to fail.
Yeah. Anything under 60% is just for drinking. Anything over 60%, you've got the option. Drink it or use it to disinfect a wound.
I see. I thought you'd be sweating from having to make a public apology over your YouTube faux pas.
Yeah, that's true. We organised the YouTube. Mike put a bunch of work into getting ready, like making sure we'd practice, checking the screen setup, etc. And then I realised that I'm supposed to be going to a wedding on that day, so it's my fault. So now we're doing on Sunday.
Instead of binning the wedding off, we changed the date. I mean, this will come out post.
I've only known the guy for like
YouTube
20 years
anyway,
so it's not like I've known him for a long time.
No, exactly.
Could have binned it off, yeah, absolutely.
That's like a new friend.
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, unless you've been doing like, I think, realistically, for me, I'm 42. Unless I've known you 30 years, I'm not going to anything.
Not bother,
Unless I'm currently like working with you or something, like it's current, I'll go. Otherwise, you're dead to me.
I think I swear I checked the calendar. I think what it is I either missed it or I thought, we've got a baby, we've got a 5-year-old, there's no chance we're going to be there late. And then when I checked with Maria, she said, oh no, I'm getting on it. She's like, we're staying late. And I was like, okay.
Are you at least getting a room at the venue?
And then I felt really stressed because like, now I've got to tell Mike. I was like, I'm going to get into trouble with head teacher Mike.
I do like telling you off, but I don't care about this one. It's like, it is.
I actually thought to myself, don't tell him, or don't ruin his bank holiday Monday morning. I'll wait until like the evening or tomorrow to I'm trying to catch him at a good time.
Every day's a bank holiday for me.
Don't hit me.
I am in permanent bank holiday mode. So
that's what I then thought. So, Mike, what's the name of the episode today, my friend?
So we are episode 69, dude.
69, dude.
And it's called When Nobody Knows Your Name.
Yeah, which could mean many things, couldn't it? Could be referring to many types.
It could get very deep, but we aren't that deep, and it is literally just a play on words around Cheers, where obviously the TV show where everybody knows your name, it's your friendly local, you know everyone knows you, it's all wonderful, which is not really the case now.
It's less so these days.
Yeah, certainly not bars. Obviously, I'm not saying whiskey bars, because obviously you start to know people a bit more, but generally bars and pubs don't really remember people unless you're sat on a chair staring at them for like 4 hours a day, which means you've got a problem. I'll say it here now, you have a problem.
So we're going to
reading a newspaper is not an excuse.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the main subject of the pod today. So we're going to talk a bit about potentially the world's most annoying bartender and annoying things that bartenders can do, and the most annoying things that you can do as a punter, right?
Yeah.
But before that,
hello everyone, it's Mr. Tumbler. What's been in your tumbler this week? Is it whiskey?
Mike, what's been in your glass and what's been up your ass this week?
So what's been in my glass? Same as you. We have done some wonderful tastings, and we had a Steve Rush tasting where we did some brave new spirits bottlings. So
Big Steve Rush.
Yeah, thanks Steve Rush. Thanks Paul from Brave New Spirits. Some wicked drams. I love I know it doesn't make any difference, but I love the styling, the sort of themes, the little sort of subcultures within Brave New Spirits, like the Cask Noir ones where they're based on like 50s film and it's all based around that and it's quality.
Oh, the branding's on point, isn't it?
Yeah, so good. And obviously, they're attempted to set up a new distillery on Campbelltown.
Right.
They're in the process of doing that. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I will say that, find it out and insert it here. Witchburn. So drama of the night for me on those ones was 5 out of 5. Annandale First Fill Oloroso Sherry Butt for me.
Oh, that was your favourite, was it?
Yeah, nose. Like, again, I'm a sucker for New York cheesecake, and that nose was like a peated Inchmurin. It was just New York cheesecake, firework plums, raisin toffee apples, and then a little bit different on the palate, but still, it's like a smoky honey, again, light.
That was the last one of the night, was it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Defender of the Crown Lowland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey.
Defender of the Crown.
Yeah,
Okay.
let the sword speak.
Oh, so okay, I said super rich on the nose, fig jam, pine varnish, creosote, smoked mackerel, elastic bands, balled tennis balls. Yeah, it was a bit wacky, wasn't it?
It was.
There was a bit of cherry bakewell in there, though, as well, which reminded me of the whiskey barrel one that was done. There's sort of where someone's kind of set a light to a cherry bakewell. I got that same note, and I thought that was really interesting because they're both first fill sherry, aren't they? I think.
I really like. Yeah, it's First Fill Oloroso. Again, palate was different to nose, not as creamy and sweet. So there's sort of pineapple, grapefruit. So you got that sweet and sour, but it's all like honey and prune as well, and still that bonfire note.
So your favourite of the night was the Annandale one. Now there was a Linkwood that we tried a little while ago on Blind Drams, which I thought was absolutely exceptional. Right. So I also like the Annandale.
Yeah.
I think my favourite from Brave New Spirits at the moment, because we might as well talk about Brave New Spirits now, was the Linkwood. And from the selection on this night was the Blair Athol, I think, 11-year-old ex-Islander, yeah. Where on the nose I got things like raspberry balsamic vinegar, greasy fish and chip paper, gooseberries, ripe pear, golden cornflake cakes. And then on the palate, it was like super medicinal smoke, raspberries and pears. I was doing it with Dave as well. And Dave, I was like creamy custard. He's like Calvados creamy custard. Now, to be fair, Dave makes a lot of different types of food, right? He's a real chef. So it was really interesting doing a tasting with him. But yeah, I think that was probably my favourite. That and the Annandale, I think.
Yeah. I thought that one was bonkers. Really liked it.
But even like Rufy the Wanderer in Medoc, that one, I mean, they're all bonkers. That was cherry liqueur chocolates, caramel melted cheddar cheese on toast, pizza dough, piquant peppers with feta cheese and vinegar. I mean, literally
peppers.
Picante.
Picante.
Yeah, picante peppers, yeah. Picante.
Cum peppers. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say? You were saying something.
Yeah, so I went to a festival. I'm just trying to work it out. Really posh whiskey show I went to. And I was telling you about it. Like the
one in London.
Sculptures and shit. Fucking fantastic show. But on there, the Brave New Spirits had a really good chat with Paul. And he gave me just a fucking mega Kalila. Like, I know it's hard to fuck up a Kalila. But
look,
it's also hard to get like a really like standout Kalila as equally difficult.
Yeah, like
as it is to get
they're
a
just generally pretty good. But if you get a real standout one, then you know. Look, we've had a few standout ones. They often tend to be a bit younger, to be fair, rather than older. My view on it is I've tried now, I think, 8 or 9 from the Brave New Spirits independent bottling range.
Yeah.
And, there's been 3 or 4 standouts in that. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Really interesting tasting notes, really interesting cask choice and what they do with the cask. So, and amazing artwork.
Yeah.
So
and it does suck you in, doesn't it? I'm sorry.
It does a bit, yeah. It makes it much more interesting. But I still think probably that Linkwood is my favourite one that we did on Blind Drams because I was trying it blind. So therefore I had no idea and I really rated it extremely highly. I've got to say that's my favourite one from the bunch. Yeah. Okay. But Talkworks, what else has been in your glass?
So I'm currently drinking the Loch Lomond single malt Scotch whiskey European tour bottling, which is the Wales Open and Celtic Classic, which was held at the Celtic Manor Golf Club, not too far from where I grew up.
Did you buy that? Did you buy that new, or did you buy that from?
I was given it as a sort of leaving gift from where I was working.
Right, okay.
And it was it's a first fill Oloroso, one of 473 bottles, 52.3%, and 14 years old, and it's pants. Yeah, it doesn't get on with me. I've had it so long. I'm just like, as you can see, I'm struggling to get through it, but following the leader's advice, Michael Henry, I do need to see it off. I'm sure some people will love it. It was just a bit too teriyaki jerky. It's weird. I don't really get on with that kind of sweet, dried meat note. And it's kind of a bit too funky for me, which
Right, okay.
normally I like. But for some reason, there's too much sulfur in there with it as well. Just didn't quite work out for me. But I am going to soldier on and finish it off like a true hero. But yeah, so that's kind of...
The medal's waiting for you.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what's in my glass.
What's been up your arse then?
What's been up my arse? This bottle of Loch Lomond? No. What's been up my arse?
Got to do something with it, Mike.
Obviously, I got a lot of time on my hands at the moment. So my current argument I'm having is with a security firm called Anchor that do my CCTV cameras at the front of the house.
Right. Just FYI, if you're thinking about breaking into Mike's, he has full CCTV.
Oh yeah, if you try and break into my house,
and
he's
like one of
those, shoot you out of a window.
It's like one of those films where he sleeps on a rocking chair with a shotgun in the lounge.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time researching
BB gun, not shotgun. Yeah, BB gun.
Like
yeah,
450 feet a second, gas powered thing. I'm like, if anyone tries to break into my car or anything else, they're gonna know.
Yeah, come if you're going over Mike's, come packing with a BB Uzi.
No, so basically, like one of the cameras is sort of just malfunctioning, so I just emailed them. Went, look, is this like a firmware issue? And they went, no one else has reported this problem, so it's just you.
Just you.
So it's your camera that's faulty. I went, oh, okay, brilliant. He said, sorry, you're outside of your 12-month warranty period. And I was like, well, technically, no, I got 6 years in the UK. You've admitted already on email that you sold me a product that's not up to it because you've said it has to be the camera. So it can't be anything else. You've admitted liability. Just send me a new one. Let's all get over this.
You might have read about me in Drop Curb Chronicle.
Yeah.
And my historic win in Kent.
So as it's starting, I'll be going to small claims court pretty soon with Anchor. I'm taking on the Chinese directly.
Good luck with that.
So that's what's up my arse. CCTV and offshoot companies of the Chinese government. Although I do hate all this Chinese spying stuff. It's ironic that all my cameras are basically a Chinese government company, but they are the best. And if they want to see me come and go from my house...
Do you remember that? There was that thing when they were advertising one of their phones, one of the Chinese phones, like one begins with X or something, and it had like a 35 times zoom on it or something, like some sort of ridiculous zoom. And people were rightly saying, well, if that's what they can do on their phones, I mean, what are they doing on everything else, right?
You look at, I think Nikon or Canon do you remember like kind of point and click cameras? So they're not quite DSLRs, but they're like the next sort of level up. This thing's basically got like 100 times zoom. Yeah. And you can, from your garden on a clear night, zoom in on the moon and take a really clear picture of like details of the moon's surface if you put it on like a stand. This is tech available to like you now.
Yeah.
Like what?
What are they using that you haven't seen?
They're not even waiting for this podcast. They're listening to this live, having a dram with us. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Those boys are talking about our spy tech again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Like, shit, send him a new camera, shut him up. So yeah, that's what's been up my arse. CCTV. I love Anchor. I've got loads of Anchor cameras, but unless you fix mine, I'm going to slate you online. So yeah. That's it. How about you? What has been in your glass other than Brave New Spirits, and what's been up your arse?
Other than the Brave New Spirits, I went out and had quite a few standard Guinness at a pub in Hackney on Friday.
This was the one I wisely chose not to attend, and I was
you
like,
were sensible.
I know where that's going to end up.
10 plus pints, and then a few whiskies. Yeah, we were pretty much dead. I felt it the next day, put it like that. We had a few drams, nothing crazy, but I have finished off the bottle of Ben Nevis 2013-2014. The 10-year-old, 46%. Overall, chalky, dirty, creamy, slightly oily, fruity, a bit of sherry notes in there. Really good. I'm glad I bought another one from auction. Yeah. It's not exactly the same year, but it's very close. So it's that. And then today I have opened up the latest Somerton releases. I haven't yet opened up the Lockley one that was out. That's just still in the cupboard. But this one piqued my interest because it's a distillery from Australia. Because I'm a member of Somerton. I pay 50.
G'day, mate.
G'day,
Insert standard accent here. Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Throw another shrimp on the barbie, Coastal Stone, distilled by the sea. So 46%, I thought, actually, that's a really good shout to get near the end. Good effort, Dan. Because one of the bottles is 50 sil or 500 mil, it's 48%, non-chill filtered. And this is just done for Somerton Club, I think, because it says Somerton Club on the front. But because it's 500 mil, it came with another 200 mil bottle as well.
Nice.
So I'm just trying them both side by side. This one says pear, candied ginger, and honey. I have to say it's pretty much bang on what it says. Obviously, it doesn't taste like it's got a lot of age to it.
Yeah.
But it is a lovely, easy drinking drop. It actually says in full, vibrant sunflower aromas with a fruity lift of apple and pear, vanilla marshmallow, and cinnamon spice, leading to honeyed nashi pears. I haven't tried a nashi pear, so I couldn't tell you.
What's that fucking nashi pear?
Hints of banoffee pie. I've tried that. Candied.
It's a nashi pear, mate.
What's a nashi pear, mate?
Nashi pear?
Candied, gentle ginger characters on the palate, finishing smooth and mellow, urging you to try more. And that's probably the most accurate bit on it. And it says it's matured in a selection of ex-burbs, sherry port, and Phoenix French oak cask. So a bit of a mix.
Phoenix French oak.
Yeah, a bit of a mix.
Rising from the flames.
And it really is honeyed. The pear's definitely in there. It's kind of sweet.
I take it they're widely available.
I haven't even looked, but I've never even heard of Coastal Stone. It's vintage 2022, so it's so young. It must only just be 3 years old. So it could be new or something.
Yeah.
I have to a bit more. But it came with the 200ml one. Is also a bit wacky. Matured in charred red wine and American French oak. And that one just says dark fruits.
American French oak.
Yeah, that one just says dark fruits and 5 spice with a long, elegant finish. And that's pretty much bang on.
I'm calling a contradiction on that.
Go on.
Well, how can it be an American and French oak?
Well, maybe maybe they mean
American
both.
oak grown in France or French oak grown in America?
I think they mean both American and French oak separate, but they just
right.
ran out of space on the bottle because they've got such a tiny amount of space on this bottle to write stuff.
Commas, people, commas.
Yeah, there's like forward slashes going on and everything.
Oh.
So anyway, they're both really similar, slightly different, both incredibly easy sipping, quite flavoursome, quite easy going really. You know, nothing crazy, but it's nice to try another whiskey from Australia.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Australian whiskies, but I'm also glad you dropped the Guinness reference there when you said you had loads of pints, because just before coming on, I did the experiment we talked about on the last pod. So I have been drinking Guinness Low, as I'm now going to refer to it as. Turns out, in the Guinness Zero cans, I got out 434 ml of Guinness Zero. Right. I then topped it up with 122 ml of Guinness, regular
Very
Guinness,
specific,
for my pint. And it comes out at 0.9% alcohol.
Right, so
you can have 4 and a bit of those before you've even had a pint of Guinness.
What is that in units? 0.9%.
So what's a pint of Guinness? Hang on,
2.3 or 2.4. No, I'm telling you, it's 2.3.
1.8. No, 1. Well, yes, actually, no, for a pint. Yeah. A can is 1.8 units, so yeah.
Yeah, so a pint's like 2.3, 2.4. So basically, divide that by 4-ish or something.
Yeah.
So you're probably only drinking about 0.6 units or something, right?
Yeah.
1.2 to 1.2.
You could basically have 5 of those.
Yeah.
And without even a hesitation be...
More importantly, how
as long as your body
taste?
count was fine, you could be driving. We're not advocating drink driving in any way, shape or form, but if you're going to the pub and having 1 Guinness, you may as well have 5 of these and be fine.
How does it taste?
Do you know what? It completely changed, because the one thing about Guinness Zero that is shit is just the viscosity and the head.
Yeah, it doesn't. So, it's not as creamy, is it?
Viscosity has gone up. It is creamier. The head is still wank, but it's still...
Official Guinness 0.0 tasting notes from Mike.
Yeah, head is wank. Yeah. At honest to a malt.
It's not thick enough.
Yeah,
it's true.
Has made that Zero thicker, and it's now... You could give that to someone, and I guarantee they would not go, that's Guinness Zero.
Would they just think it's been poured badly in a pub?
Potentially, yeah, I would say so. Because there's just that tiny alcohol kick. 1% basically per pint.
Yeah, so I'm still enjoying this this Coastal Stone. It's
called the Pebble, Duncan.
Is that what you've called the Guinness thing? The Pebble?
No, a Coastal Stone.
Oh, Coastal Stone. It could be called something else. There are other Coastal Stones other Coastal Stones are available, surely.
Such as?
I don't know, actually. Is it just Pebble? Maybe. It's
got you thinking now.
Splashy of you. Okay, so before we started recording today, Mike was talking a bit about Mac Mirror, right?
Yeah.
And I think Mike's come up with a bit of a genius idea, which is that I guess for the shrewd people amongst us, if they are potentially getting rid of stock, you have to wonder what's going to kind of be available.
I kind of wish I want someone on the inside to just be like, look, this is what is what the score is. Like,
is there cheap casks going?
Have they gone bankrupt for a reason? not necessarily because they haven't got cash or whatever else. They're doing it for a reason, to either bin off an investor and then just carry on as normal. Something.
Yeah, or is
I
it
was
just actual
surprised they
financial
got
bankruptcy?
under, because I would have thought out of all the sort of new distilleries, and I'm saying new, they've been around ages, but of the like new world distilleries, they are solid, consistent. People know them. People buy their bottles. So
You say
it
that,
was a
but
bit
I feel like
weird.
they're another one in the UK where people know of them, everyone's tried them, and no one really buys them that much. So
Compass box style.
kind of, yeah. Like
Yeah.
you know, they're often at every sort of festival, or they're there, or they used to be anyway. And you try them and say, yeah, it's pretty good, but it doesn't set the world alight. And then no one would really buy it. So
Yeah. No, I
surely that's
guess.
their problem.
But I do wonder, so if they're sat on all this stock and they need to offload this, I think if you were going to, between friends, looking to invest in a cask, you could literally probably buy some decent price cask from now, speak to them, just be upfront.
I mean, it's probably worth contacting them to see what's going on, definitely. So maybe we should even do that. But
Yeah.
I have to say,
that puts us in the world of journalism. I'm not sure we could do that.
it would really depend on what type of cask it was. I've only ever had one, which, do you remember that extra rock one that I got from the Somerton Club? And it was Lucky Dip. And it was
Batshit,
absolutely
crazy,
bonkers, like petrol, grenade in a petrol
Yeah.
station type situation. So other than that one, I've never really had anything which, like, well, take this Coastal Stone. It's in the same sort of ballpark, honeyed, bit sweet, orchard fruits.
foreign liquor.
It tastes fine, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not setting the world alight. It depends on what you're paying for it, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. And like I said, I'm not like being a dick and trying to like take advantage, but if they are shifting stock just to please administrators, they don't care.
That's what we were saying earlier. If they need to reduce costs, their only options are dispose of stock or sell stock. You can't give it away for free because there's a cost to keeping stock, isn't there? Right?
Yeah.
And whilst you could say it's an asset, that asset has a cost to actually
Exactly.
keep.
Tax implications.
Tax
to
implications,
administrators if they
storage
come in.
implications.
If the administrators are in.
Yeah, we don't.
Again,
know.
we don't know the situation, but
But if anyone knows more than us, let us know.
yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Because
Because-
we can. If not, we can get some honest malt cask going. If you want to buy a McMira cask with honest
Any of the
malt,
extra
let us
rock
know.
ones,
Yeah.
anything which is actually genuinely mental, kept on the forest floor, or whatever it is that they do.
Well, I mean, feel free to buy us one because no one's buying us coffees. You may as well buy a McMira cask for us.
And I think part of that's because we don't even talk about it. Right? So. The main subject of the pod today is about bartenders, so where nobody knows your name. And
Yes.
I think we less and less go into bars these days or the local boozer or whatever. Although you should still support local pubs if you can,
I
and local
shouldn't.
bars.
Mine's
Mike shouldn't.
full of cokeheads and idiots. And, yeah.
Okay,
The
everyone
the
except
sooner that
Mike.
place shuts down, the better.
And then reopens without those
Reopens with a nice craft brewery.
people. Yeah.
There's a lovely little bloke making gin up the road. Cantium Gin in Kent. Fantastic.
They should just move their
Get them in
location.
there. Yep. Make the gin from there. Make some beers on site. Nice food menu. Price out all the idiots. Job done. I'll
Yeah.
be in there every night and spend £8 for a Guinness.
So this started with me with there was a video that I've seen pop up a few times of this guy. He's a bartender,
Oh.
and he's always dressed very well, and he does a lot of the sort of outlandish stuff. And some of the comments on it are genuinely.
Rocco De Angelis.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he's tagged in the post you sent me.
Right, this is a direct call out, Rocco. You're more than welcome to come on the pod.
Yeah. And I'm going to rip you because you're a bell end.
You're both a legend and a bell end in your own lifetime. It's incredible.
He
stuff.
is, all I can say is the equivalent of the Salt Bay of the bartending world.
Mike, you're so right. He is like the Salt Bay of the bartending world. Instead of
Yeah.
sprinkling salt off the end of his arm, he does everything in a really outlandish way. Like he's taking perfectly square ice cubes out of individual packets, and
Bell end.
he has this sort of face on him as he's making the drinks,
Mm.
like you want to take a shower.
Blue Steel. I just want to punch him straight in the grid.
That's a bit much.
yeah.
But some of the
I
comments
don't
are
care.
very funny
I
on
don't
Instagram.
care. Yeah.
Anyway, did you see the video I sent you where basically he spends about 15 minutes making a drink and he's only used Jim Beam in it?
I just...
like the core ingredient is so bad.
Don't get me wrong. I love a Jim Beam. However, and it is suitable for cocktails, but I'm talking about mix it with Coke What are you doing?
It's a Jim Beam rye he's using. But so my
Yeah, but that's the basic.
Yeah, I know it's basic. That's my point. But my point is, and it's a general comment on bartenders at fancy bars, is when they're going over the top, but the ingredients are rubbish. If you go to the Savoy, they don't go over the top. They're a little classy. Obviously, they make never such a slight. They take pride in what they're doing.
Weirdly accessible.
But the quality of ingredients that they're using is really good, right? Whereas this guy is the opposite of that. He's going all out. It's all show. And then he's using one of the cheapest ryes you can use.
He's just, it brings you onto that whole thing of annoying bartenders. Don't get me wrong, I have worked at a bar for many a year. I understand how annoying it is, how hard it is, how difficult it is. What annoyed me the most as a customer going to a pub, bar, whatever, how can you not be able to keep a tally on who is next?
Can I just say absolutely, but also flicking the glass when you're making a drink is super annoying. Like, don't do that.
Flicking the glass?
he flicks the glasses. But you got to watch. If you haven't watched it, I don't mind this.
I stomached about 4 seconds of the wank.
I don't mind chucking the bottles around. I'm okay with that. But when he's doing,
I'd chuck a bottle straight to his face.
He flicks the bottle. He flicks the bottle as well. It's actually quite close to a sort of a Jeff whiskey slap. Actually, instead of that, he flicks it. With his finger, like he's like tinging it, and he like points the words. He holds the Jim Beam rye, and he points to the words like, "This is the greatest drink in the world." If you haven't watched it, what's his name again?
Rocco's Modern World. Rocco DeAngelis.
Rocco DeAngelis. Look him up. It's well worth 5 to 10 minutes of your life.
Do it after a couple of drinks and do it in a nice relaxed atmosphere where a padded room would be good so you could just punch the walls. Just let your frustrations out, because it boiled my piss instantly.
That's what
awful.
I mean. He's a legend in his own lifetime. Unbelievable. How's he managed to annoy so many people just by making a few drinks?
That's what I mean. So it's annoying bar persons, and essentially how you can't maintain who is next in a queue is the biggest bugbear for me in a pub.
But that's
or a bar.
that. I mean, 100%. I mean, this now you're talking like absolute standard thing. That might be the most annoying thing when you're at a bar. But for a start, why do we have to queue in the UK when most European countries you just sit down at your table and they come to your table? You don't have to get up and queue at the bar, right?
Because in Europe, they're like, I can have a bit of food, I'll have a glass of wine, I'll have a beer.
Just getting on
it takes 20 minutes, don't worry. In Britain, you're like, I need as much in me now, come on.
But think about
it. Before the bank hits midnight and I'm insufficient funds.
But there is an absence of thought. When you go to a busy bar, they always pour the Guinness fresh in the UK, whereas in Ireland, they would have just poured multiple Guinness, right? And they have them ready.
Not necessarily.
Sometimes, though.
But if a bar's doing that, again, that's awful. If you are...
Depends on how many they serve,
you're in a popular... if you're in the Guinness place, like in the Guinness factory, knock those out, because you're going to have a new person buying a pint of Guinness every 30 seconds. Start topping them up. But I've been to places where they've got 10 pints of Guinness that's been sat there, and they just then top it up at the end.
No,
it's
that's
probably
bad.
Like my room at the moment, because I opened the door for 10 seconds. I've got about 40 different flies in here. Who knows what's in the pints? How long it's been there? Minging.
Bartenders not knowing who's next, obviously very annoying, right?
Yeah.
There's also bartenders who don't know how to pour a Guinness. That's very annoying.
Oh.
And the panic when you get the wrong one, you're like, people going to buy, like, don't go to that person. They can't pour a Guinness. And then you get them anyway, and you're like, oh, it is actually terrible.
So I remember my bartending stage where I thought I was a legend because I could do the clover in the pint.
Oh, yeah.
And then someone went, don't ever do that to a pint of Guinness. What is wrong with you? He's like, you're not American. Pour it properly.
It's not a coffee shop.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. So, yeah. I make mistakes.
When you pour something Guinness, you go, do you want chocolate on top of your Guinness? Little sprinkle. I don't know if there's anything else really annoying that bartenders do. I think the main thing is just not knowing who's next. And
what was the most annoying thing customers did when you were
punters.
A bartender? Yeah.
So I worked for a good few years at pubs, and I worked a few pubs. I worked at a pub when I was a teenager through to a young adult, and I worked at another pub when I was in again young adult, and I also ran a bar for a bit, but a bar at a busy restaurant. So it was bar, people are coming just to drink, but there was also a restaurant at the back, so you'd have to serve both customers eating and customers who were just drinking, right? So I was trying to think of the things that are most annoying. one straight off the bat would be not knowing what they want when it's busy.
Oh.
So people come up to the bar and, you know, fair enough. It doesn't matter when it's not busy. In fact, it's actually nice if they say, what would you recommend? But when it's busy and they don't know, and the person next to them is getting stressed.
Or if you've got a really busy bar
Yeah.
and you've got someone that's doing a stupidly long order, they're being dickheads, and then all of a sudden another group of like 4 or 5 friends turn up and they go, what are you having? And they constantly add to the order. And it
Right, okay,
pisses
and another one.
every other customer off.
And another one.
And you're like, you can't just keep doing this. I'm not your private barman. Do you know what I mean?
I think the other thing is when it's really busy is not, there's a bit of courtesy to other customers. So if it's mad busy, you as a bartender can't turn down the drink that someone's requested, because unless you said up front, we won't make certain drinks during certain times of the service, you have to serve them. So, and you don't mind making the drink. It's just that the queues keep getting deeper. So when someone comes up and it's super busy and they go for like one of the hardest cocktails to make, and you're like,
just make it really badly and they'll never ask for it again.
I'll make it for you, but look at all the other people who are literally staring through your head right now. Yeah. Couldn't you have just ordered something simpler?
I think like people used to care about stuff like that. They don't now because they're so involved in fucking social media and everything else.
Yeah, maybe I don't care about that. I can give you another one straight off my head. So when I worked at a pub in Norwich, what people would do was they would come in right at the end, like just as you've rung the bell or just after you've rung the bell. They'd literally walk in. Yeah, but like 10 minutes from the end. Yeah. And then they'd order a pint and you'd be like, and you know they're not a fast drinker. And all they're really doing is trying to find somewhere else to be other than their home for an extra 20 to 30 minutes. And the thing is, it wouldn't be annoying. I don't care about going home to go to bed. What's annoying is in most establishments like that, you don't get paid after closing. So if it depends on the establishment, but like some of them would pay you to the minute you work and others would say you're paid until this time. Or maybe it was that I wanted to go.
I'd be walking out.
You can't just walk out and leave
You ain't paying me, I'm leaving.
A bunch of random
I don't do anything
people.
for free.
So
apart from a podcast.
I can't remember, but I think it was that, or maybe it was I wanted to get back. I can't remember. It could have been both. But definitely when I, for example, worked at Budgeon's when I was younger, people would come and get really aggressive about the fact that you closed on time. And they definitely didn't pay after the hour. People would be fuming they couldn't come in and buy their beer. So yeah, people walking in right at the end, if goodness knows where they've been before that, and then ordering like a brand, another pint at like five to time or whatever, or literally as the bell's just gone, or pleading for a pint, and being like, that I think up there for me.
Most annoying thing for me from bartender perspective, customers that like walk off trying to carry like 5 pints or whatever.
Right, okay.
And they get round the corner or something, you just hear smash.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then they come back and go, I've dropped my pint. Expecting a free one? And I'm like, no, mate.
That's
I'll pour you another one. Do you want another Guinness or whatever? Do you want a Carlin? Whatever, yeah. And they'll go to walk off. I'm like, no, mate, you've dropped it. It's not like we haven't thrown it round, or it's not our problem.
Yeah.
You've dropped your pint. You're an idiot. You're paying for another one.
Yeah.
But like the audacity to expect,
you're right to have said there is this sort of tacitly this sort of thing in a bar where they think that if they don't make it back with their drink to the table, somehow that's
it's on the bar.
Somehow that's the bar's fault, right? That's true. You're right. People think it's the bar's fault. They're like, like you're definitely going to get a free drink poured again.
Yeah, it's like wine. You smashed a bottle of wine. Well, it was half empty. All right, well done. You get another full one to buy. What do you want to do? But like, if I'd seen someone and it was like, oh my god, the geezer's slipped on a wet floor or something, or he's done something stupid. If there's look
at you drawing a little crime scene thing around it, and going,
if there's like,
hang on, you pausing,
a minuscule chance it's the bar's fault. I'm like, I'm gonna get you a beer. Let's just sweep this under the carpet. There you go. Yeah. Don't worry about it. On us, we'll sort it out. We'll put it through as wastage. If you turn around and come back going, I dropped my thing, you ain't getting nothing, mate. You are not getting anything.
I think one of the things that also annoys me when I was serving is when people are getting impatient and they'd like lean in over the bar, like they think you haven't seen them, right? And actually, on the reverse of that is a great thing a bartender can do. That the best bartenders do at busy bars is they'll literally point to people and say, "It's you, then it's you, then it's you," and then people relax. They're like, "Okay, I'm second, or I'm third, or I'm first," and they'll do that. The worst ones just leave everybody guessing who's going to get served next and then serve them out of order, right? That's the worst way you can do it. The best thing you can do as a bartender is say, look, it's you, then it's you, and then it's you. And then people are like, okay. And then people don't do that thing where they lean in. Like they're trying to
altercations as a youngster.
Like they're trying to climb over the bar.
Honest. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like when they go, barman goes, who's next? And goes, I am. And I'm like, nope. Absolutely. Like Frank the Tank is on one, like he's just hit rage instantly. But no, actually, you are correct.
Well, that's also, from a bartender's perspective, that's also a bit annoying because if people do that and you have missed it, if it's that busy, you're relying on people to be honest in a way, aren't you?
100%.
Right.
And if you're not, you're like, were you actually next? I'll call people out. I always used to because, it's
of course you did.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it any other way.
No, right? But what I'm glad of, because I know it would have done my head in, and it wasn't around when I was a barman, people talking on phones on loudspeaker.
What, like holding it to their face like that?
Oh my God. I mean, it's a problem with society.
They have a word in German society for when people talk into their phone.
Yeah, it's called arsehole.
No, when it's in front of them, it's called something. I don't know what it's called, but they actually have a word for it.
Asshole.
Yeah. I think
that would do my head in at a bar, and I'd probably just kick people out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of things that still annoy me. When the bartender holds the glass on the top like that with their fingers. Yeah, or they pass it to you and they've basically put their fingers right around the top of the glass. Like that is annoying. Like that is actually really annoying because it's like, you know, how clean their hands are and they're just like, they're too busy. They couldn't care less. They've basically fingered your drink.
Yeah. And having worked in bars, there are some specimens that work in bars.
Also, when you're really busy and you've run out of glasses and you're doing your best to wash everything and the customer says
hot glass,
a hot glass is one, and another one, hot glass is the worst. Another top pet hate is when the bartender gets you a warm beer from the fridge, like a bottle, but doesn't say, just, okay, this is actually my pet hate. This is my absolute pet hate. You go somewhere, the best bartenders will take it out, feel it, and they'd say to you, "Do you know what? I don't think that's quite cold enough. Do you want to just check it yourself and see?" That's the best bartender. Yeah. The worst bartender, crack the top off, pour the drink or pass it to you, and you'll go, "Hang on, it's not even cold," and they'll go, like,
sorry,
you're just supposed to drink that now. Like,
yeah, I'm like, no, I haven't walked away and dropped this. You're getting me a cold one, motherfucker.
Yeah, get a cold one now, right? Yeah, that's super annoying. Or when like you ask a bartender for some like fruit, I know. Okay, let's say for example, it's just a minimum requirement of bar. Let's say for example that I order an ice cold Coca-Cola. Right, I fancy I don't have a Coca-Cola very often. I'd say I fancy a Coca-Cola. Yeah. So I say I'll have a pint of Coke and say
other cola drinks are available.
And they'll say a good bar would say, "Do you want ice and lemon on that?" And I'd say yes or no, depending. But let's say I do want the sliced lemon. When they don't say it, and you say, "Could I have a sliced lemon?" They go, "Oh, we've not got any lemon." It's like you're a bar. A lemon costs 35p to me in the supermarket. How can you not have some lemons and some limes cut up in case people want one?
Go to Tesco Express. I'll watch the bar for you.
I'm embarrassed for them, right? It's like, should I have brought my own? I should have brought my own lemon into the bar, right?
But this is why Coke have probably brought out Coke Lemon.
Probably.
And Coke Vanilla and stuff. Let's just take everything away.
Just make it impossible for them to mess it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awful. That's really annoying as well.
Yeah,
I don't know what my top pet hate is. I think maybe it might be serving a drink in a warm glass or pulling a bottle out of the fridge from the front when they couldn't be bothered to reach the back with a warm beer.
No, I know it. That's flat.
Well, when
you serve a pint and it's flat and you're going, well, no, it's not flat. It's a perfectly good cask. It's a perfectly good pint. It's just that we haven't got that stupid shit at the bottom of the glass that makes it fizz, which actually flattens your beer quicker. So it's not a bad pint. Do you want to taste it? Yeah, it's flat. Okay. Bang another glass on the side and it foams up. Well, now it's flat. I'm like, get out. Get out.
You do get with ale sometimes. Sometimes ale's gone off a bit. Sometimes ale can have gone. That happens.
Yeah, but if you like looking after your lines and stuff, and you're looking after your
you know that straight away if you had an ale that's been there for too long, right? So you got to change it.
You can tell by the flies.
Yeah, you do get people saying a beer's flat. That's true. That's mostly with lager, right?
Lager, yeah. There's no gas. What's this? Tap in the fucking glass. I'm like, I'm gonna wrap it around your head. I had a lot of aggression.
You might be the angriest bartender ever.
Oh, honestly, I kept it like reasonably like sweet faced, but yeah. it can be like a Hollywood film, you know. It's like you have a cut scene and it's what they're mentally picturing.
Staff these days don't know how good they've got it. When I was being a bartender at a pub or a bar, people would come in and then you say that's £12.62 or whatever, and they get out. You know, they proceed to search all their pockets to find where their money is. They'd be getting out change, count it up, or you'd have to go to the till and obviously, like, you know, get the right amount, hand it back to them, not mess it up. Then if they're drunk, sometimes they'd say, "Oh, you give them the wrong change."
Wrong change. Wrong change. I gave you a 20.
Yeah.
Are we playing that game, are we?
Yeah. I think it was a 50, actually.
The whole bar's closed because of this guy. And we're going to count the tills. That's what I used to do.
I just imagine I imagine any bar you working in, there'd be a big red button in the background just called nuclear option. And like, if anyone said that, you just hit the button and the whole bar just locked down. You say, no one's leaving until we sort this out.
And you just point at the person that's done it going,
this person
is trying it on. Yeah. We're going to prove it now. Yeah. We've got cameras on the tills. We're going to do a float count. Everyone just chill and watch this arsehole fucking sweat.
If bars are making it interesting these days, they'd probably use like their own version of VAR or VAR, as I once called it, to like to do a rewatch, right, and then put what happens, like the zoom in on the note that's been handed over on the TV, and the whole bar could watch it.
Do you remember we went to the calf?
Oh yeah, we were at the calf. Yeah,
and the woman was like, "I gave you a 20."
And in the end, what did they do? Did they watch it?
They brought up the CCTV of all the different angles.
Did they?
And she clearly paid with a tenner.
And in the end...
she went, I had 20 on me.
When she
went, oh, it was in my pocket.
Yeah, at the end she realised it was in her pocket.
I was like, fuck off.
Yeah. But they were being really polite to her for ages, right? And
they were super polite.
I would have just gone, get out.
I was getting so pissed off behind
we did have to wait for about 5 minutes to pay our bill, didn't we? So that was pretty annoying.
I wasn't pissed off about waiting. I was pissed off at the audacity of someone clearly taking the piss, trying it on.
Yeah.
And I hate that, especially with like a small business. Like, regardless if they're like, I mean, they take card, so there's less money laundering, but cafes are obviously always on the take.
Yeah.
But I was like, you can't fucking screw these people over. She was so clearly trying it.
She was trying it on.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I was so close to saying something with
people mostly do that type of thing when they've had too many drinks and they've forgotten. Some people are trying it on, but most of the time people just don't realise, right? And occasionally the customer's right and the bartender's wrong. You've seen that as well. You know, when you've been at a bar and you've seen someone hand over like a 20 and they've given them change for a 10. You're like, you saw it and you're like, you know, and then they don't believe you because mostly it's the other way around. You know,
I remember my first couple of weeks in London, we were drinking down Canary Wharf, All Bar One.
All Bar One, yeah, classic.
And obviously full of city wankers, all like don't care. They're just tapping their cards. They're paying whatever. They're not looking. They're putting the card in. I went to go and pay, and I bought like 5 pints. Say I was in a round, and it was like 200 quid on the card machine. And I went, "That's wrong, mate. What's that?" "Oh, sorry.
It should be 20.
And came back, and I went, "No, what even that? Like it should have been something like 40 quid."
Right.
It was complete.
He was fraud. Yeah. Okay.
And I went, okay. So I said to the boys, just
careful.
Go to the same barman, order the same thing, just see what happens. And he did it to 3 other people. And I was like, right, stormed into the manager's office.
Just trying everybody on.
His thing, no. And they were like, there's no way to prove it. But I was like, well, you're in on it as well. I was like, right, I'm phoning the police. You're all getting fucking fired. You're all getting taken down. I'm shutting this All Bar One.
You're like a vigilante. You're like a vigilante. You're like that Dog
like
the Bounty
Batman,
Hunter.
mate. I'm here for the people.
Batman. You're like Dog the Bounty Hunter, not Batman.
I'm like Robin, let's be honest. Fat Robin.
You are brave though. I can imagine you don't. You just say exactly what you're thinking in any given situation.
I do not give a shit.
Yeah.
It's the right way or no way. Do you know what I mean?
So what have we got so far? Like pet hates is the barman not knowing who's next in the order. Barman fingering the top of the glasses, or bar lady, sexist. Could be either.
Episode 69.
Episode 69. Picking out a cold beer, using a warm glass. These are all things that are ultra annoying, right? From a punter's perspective.
Restocking the fridge from the front, not taking out the old bottles.
Not taking out the old bottles.
Cold. Lazy.
Very lazy. Very lazy.
Because again, your poor walk-in that's just trying to avoid going home to a dull, meaningless life. Wants a cold beer, and you're going to give him a warm one.
I can't get past the cold beer thing. I think that might be my absolute top pet hate. I didn't realise it until we started talking about this. But when you've paid £3.50 or £4 or £4.50 for a bottle of beer from a fridge,
Bud. Oh, you'd probably love that actually, wouldn't you? Because you're now a Bud Light advocate.
That's right, massive
Wanker.
Bud Light fan. But and you and you could have just got it for like, 75p or a pound or £1.25 or whatever in a multi-pack. And you're paying all that extra and they can't even get it to the right temperature.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
going
kind of like
volcanic.
Do you know what? Like, I've got the perfect draft beer system. I haven't used it for a while because it was never really...
Oh, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. Like, if I'm having a big barbecue and stuff, I'll try and get a couple of kegs in, keep one in the fridge, get one chilled down to 3 degrees. Mega. Everyone can serve themselves. We can all laugh at how shit people are at pouring beers.
Yeah.
But it was never like that economical.
Yeah.
Because it was so much cheaper to buy bottles and cans in the supermarket.
You're paying a premium.
But now you're not far off paying what you used to for a pint for a can or a bottle in a supermarket now. The pricing is going through the roof. Do you mean on beers and stuff.
Do you mean like specialist beers? If you go into a
Not
supermarket now,
even like
the
I
specialist
remember going
stouts
to
are like
Foster's,
£4.50 or £5 for a specialist stout, right?
Yeah, but I remember like going to Tesco as a 18-year-old, obviously. 18.
Oh, you're talking about versus your draft cost. Is that what you're talking about at home?
Yeah, and you could pick up a crate of 24 Fosters for like 14 quid.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at like, I know it's inflation and everything else, but you're looking at like 20 odd quid, like nearly 30 quid for a pallet.
I think they came under pressure because they were just selling booze too cheap, basically. Like they I'm not sure if they're regulated for it or whatever, but
they are in Scotland, but not down here. But I think they've probably seen that Scottish people are still willing to
pay more
for tenants.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, if they're doing it, we'll just push our prices up.
Maybe. I have noticed that bottled lagers have gone up in price. Like if I go to one of the local shops just to pick up like a 500ml bottle of Asahi Dry, right? Yeah. Like ice cold because I just want one beer. Then it's like now
in the UK, avoid it.
It's now £3.50 instead of about
bollocks to
£2 or £2.50, which is too pricey for 500ml.
That's what I mean, and that's where like perfect draft now.
So I'm agreeing with you.
Kind of now makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, if anyone's listening, has got a perfect draft. I know Beer Hawk and who they've changed now, but look at their short date stuff because they've got some real bargains on there. I say bargains. It's still like £1.50 a pint, but it's pub quality, 3 degrees. It's a guaranteed cold pint. The glass temperature is on you. So if it's a hot glass, that's your fault.
Get that glass in the freezer. Yeah.
And it's fizzy or it's flat. It's on you.
Glasses from the freezer is a lovely touch if you've got the time and space.
Oh.
So good. I've never tried one of those Guinness Nitro Surges, and that's something that you're talking about home drinks now. That's something that I feel like next time it's on offer, I should just go all in on that and get like
come to Casa del Wings, mate. I've got literally fucking 40 pint cans in my fridge.
Yeah. Okay. I should next time I come around Casa del Wings, I'll try one of these Guinness Nitro Surges.
Yeah. With a bit of a splash of Cointreau.
Lovely.
Cointreau and Guinness.
That reminds me.
Cocktail.
I tried to get Alex to drink pint of Guinness at the Kenton pub.
This is Alex that was accusing me of knowing nothing about wine.
Yeah. I tried to get him to drink
drunk Alex. Call him now.
Pint of Guinness with a shot of Tia Maria in it. He refused. He wouldn't let me pour the Tia Maria into the pint of Guinness. I was like, "This coffee."
I mean, to be fair, start with the Tia Maria and pour the Guinness over the top.
Well, in the end, we just had the Tia Maria and then drank the Guinness. But my point was that it can't be that bad if you just have Tia Maria and a pint of Guinness. It probably tastes nice. It's got a coffee tinge.
Maybe we can call him Whining Alex instead of Wine Alex now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
10 pints Alex. Yeah.
Throw the H in.
So,
H.
We'd be interested to hear from you. What are your pet hates as either a bartender, if you're a bartender, if you've watched the video of this Rocco fella, and also what are the most annoying things that both a bartender can do or that the punter, the customer can do, bartender. Have we missed any? I still love going out to the pub and I still love going to a bar. And I actually thought of one more just now off the top of my head, which is when they don't know the price of stuff. And I don't mean everything. I don't mean like a back shelf, like, what's that dram over there in the corner? I'm talking about when I point at one of your main beers, literally in front of you, that you serve every day. And I say, how much is that? And they go, I'll have to check on the till. You should just
assuming it's not a new bartender.
Yeah, but even if it is, that should be part of the basic training. I don't care.
Yeah, but you've got to give them time.
Fine. Okay. But often
Grolsch, £2.70. I can tell you now. Carlin, $2.20.
That's my point. You should know because people ask. People say, what's the price?
Strongbow, £2.
£2 for
Best
Strongbow.
Value for money.
Back in the day. I think those are the things that top of my list. So if you think of any more, then let us know. Just tag us in and give it a shout out. And whatever you're doing, just push through, keep supporting local bars, keep supporting local pubs. Going out and enjoying a dram or a cocktail somewhere. Try to keep these
And
venues
hopefully
open.
by this point you've all enjoyed the delayed YouTube, thanks to Duncan's wedding. We'll tell you how it was.
Just to be clear, I'm not actually
time.
getting married. I'm going to a friend's wedding because Mike said thanks to Duncan's wedding there, which makes it sound like I'm getting married. I'm not. I don't want anyone to. I'm already married.
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't
taken.
Not some sort of. Is it big
Well,
me?
you're flashing your ring at me. You're waving it round. There's a ring on it, mate. I'm not interested. I got one too.
Oh, speaking about putting a ring on it, Beyonce's released a whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
Which is £80 called Sir Davis, which is 44.
I don't know enough about it.
44 or 45%.
What distillery has it come from?
It's basically, they've taken a bourbon from a non-disclosed distillery. So take your pick. It's about 44 or 45%. But what they've done is they've taken that bourbon, and it's non-age statement, and they have finished it in sherry casks.
That's a wank.
I haven't tried it. I can't say.
If you are not willing
£80,
to say which distillery it's come from, not interested, especially in the bourbon world, because there's only a few places.
Mike.
It's basically going to be an MGP fucking cash cow. Mila Kunis has been doing like Jim Beam work for years.
Yeah.
Genuinely
She's
loves
also very
Jim
funny.
Beam, loves bourbon, nothing else.
Yeah.
Is she put out a whiskey? No. Could she? Yes. Would it be better? Yes. Let's get Beyonce on and quiz her on whiskey, because I'm guaranteeing she knows nothing.
I'm actually more interested now in taking some Eagle Rare 10, getting our own mini barrels that we talked about, and then giving it a sherry finish.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's get some Eagle Rare 10. Let's get enough to fill up the smallest barrel.
Let's annoy Americans. Let's just fill up a hoggy.
31 quid a pop. I had a bath in it last week.
Yeah,
it was only
because then we can sell it back to the States.
It was only
like
600 quid.
10 times the price.
Put it back in the bottle, resealed it, selling it overseas. Yeah,
I made soap.
No, but seriously, I would still be intrigued to try sort of some bourbon with a sherry finish, but not this one. So equally, if anyone has a recommendation on a decent bourbon that has a sherry finish, let me know. Right?
Yeah. Well, Angel's Envy is port, which is close.
I've tried that.
You
That
tried
was very
that?
good. Yeah, I tried that around yours, obviously. Yeah.
The fact that it's non-disclosed, just no. I don't even know what the ABV is. I don't care. If you're not saying who
I said
you're
it's
working
45
with,
or 44 or 45%.
like a Sassenach.
46%.
We are working with Loch Lomond, who know what they're doing. We've selected it. We've been hands-on. We've done things.
Yeah, they also did
Fair
share.
play,
They did share
big
the
round of
ages
applause.
the whiskey went in.
You've been so open, and some people don't like the price, but they appreciate the openness.
But maybe, Sir Davis, maybe they will be more open about it. But there was a lot of excitement hysteria because it's Beyonce. But anyway, point is, maybe they'll be more open about it in time, or they'll share back some information. But right now, £80 seems really expensive. I'd be more likely, and the reason I mentioned this to you is because this would be prime for a celebrity top trumps again.
Yeah.
So let's see if anyone sells a sample of this that we can try. Because
although
I'll buy a sample for the pod, but
I
not
have
a bottle.
significantly more than 99 bottles, and that ain't one.
that was Jay-Z, wasn't it? That's not Beyonce.
The husband.
The husband, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
There's a loose
come on.
connection there. But it's not his whiskey, Mike. It's not his whiskey. It's her whiskey.
He's not allowed to say anything
because
about
he's got his own alcohol brands already. He has like tequila or something else, or mezcal or vodka or something. He has his own brand, obviously. I'm sure he does. I'm 100% sure he's
a
his
fight
whiskey.
between The Rock and Jay-Z of the tequila brands.
Yeah, there was a loose connection where Beyonce's great grandfather or something was like in Prohibition, or grandfather. He was like, this I will say, he would take the whiskey, he would make his own moonshine basically during Prohibition, and he would then go and put it in trees or whatever, or somewhere where people could find it so they could have a drink.
Take photos, put it on Instagram.
He was IGing it back in the day. He was a leader, if anything. But the point is, he was going out of his way to make something to share it with the community, apparently not for money. So Beyonce, to honour her great-grandfather, is flogging whiskey at probably 2.5 times the price that it's really worth. So to honour that story.
He's turning in his grave at the lies.
Yes, yeah. So there you go.
You've made him come back. He's not crossed over now. He's haunting a mansion somewhere.
This weekly podcast is supposed to be like therapy for me, but actually I'm just getting angrier and angrier near the end of this one. If you listen to the podcast, thank you very much. If you like our podcast, give us a 5-star review. They've been nudging up. We really, really appreciate it because it helps to spread the word. And you will be able to visit us at one of the upcoming festivals. We're going to be at Whiskey Exchange on the 8th, which is Whiskey Show. We're also going to be at a festival in Wales soon. Where in Wales, Mike?
Llandudno.
First
Welsh Whiskey Festival. Then a week later, maybe when the ink is wet on the divorce papers for both of us, we'll be at Glasgow.
Yeah.
With Glasgow Distillery.
Single.
So we are 3 festivals deep.
3 festivals deep. So if you've got a festival you'd like us to attend, we're probably already quite busy, but give us a shout.
I mean, at this point, we'll probably open up your local Safeways for a dram.
Pod goals. I wanted to, Mike, we're not yet to Christmas. I want to turn on some Christmas lights somewhere.
You can do it at my house.
Not at my
We'll
home.
have a repeat.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can repeat the Christmas party and maybe find one more guest. We'll get Ben over.
If you're listening to this now, then coming up we've got Compass Box coming on. We're going to be sticking to sort of 1-2 guests a month going forwards. So again, thanks so much for listening. Thank you from me.
Thank you from me. And as always, follow us in all the usual places. www.honest2amalt.com. We are on all social medias at Honest to a Malt. Duncan is on at Whiskey Tip. I'm on at Whiskey Wings. And we will catch you on the next one. Bye bye bye. Tale of a moonshine man, a legend of the South. Didn't care about prohibition, no. Tall and sweat through thick and thin to make a drink that'd never win. But now it's time to cash in on Granddaddy's gold. A golden sin. No matter how it came to be, it's all about the money, they sure say. Slapped his name on a fancy bottle, marketing scheme, a clever throttle. They'll buy it up without a care, just for the name of brand to wear. Truth is a ghost, it's fading light, as long as the profits keep shining bright. So let's grasp to the past, hope the money keeps coming in fast.